Hi again and welcome back, Rancho del Lago 2021, and this is CheryLynn. We have got some really good content today. I'll be interviewing a local architect all about things I should have known before I built my house, and I didn't. So I'm sharing with you, hopefully you will avoid any pitfalls if you're going to be building a house. Before we get into that, let me just ask you if this content is helpful and important to you today. Please subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. That helps me to grow the channel so that I can bring you really good information all the time. Let's get started. Hi, welcome back. This is Rancho del Lago 2021, and we're going to do something a little bit different today. I'm CheryLynn, and with me is Aldo Prieto. Did I say that correctly, Aldo?
That's fine.
Okay, good. Aldo is a architect between, if I'm correct, Guadalajara and Lake Chapala area.
Basically, yes.
Okay, and has been in business for over 30 years.
Yes.
Okay. Aldo had the chance to see one of my previous videos and was kind enough to send a little comment and tell me that I was not quite correct on a couple of points. So we chatted a little bit and he agreed to answer 10 important questions that I should have known before I ever started building a house. Unfortunately, I didn't, and so I made a lot of mistakes. But Aldo, just to let you know a little bit about me, I'm from Florida. I come from a construction family. My father was an electrical contractor. I started reading his blueprints and doing takeoffs in seventh grade. So I'm very used to plans. I'm very used to construction in Florida. And so I thought that I was going to be very prepared here. And I was so very wrong because Mexico is vastly different in the construction field than it is in the United States, with little regulation and little training and licensing. Fortunately, in your realm, it does require that. So I caught a lot of mistakes, but there were a lot of things I didn't catch. And I'm going to be having problems with it for a long time to come, little things being fixed at a time. What my goal is with the series of construction related videos for Rancho del Lago is to help other people who come here and want to build a home to not have the pitfalls that I had. So meeting you and having the opportunity to talk with you and ask you questions is like wonderful. So perfect. And I really thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Okay. So here we go. I have 10 questions. Number one, should a client come to you in person with a design in mind?
Okay, if the client is fixed with an idea,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. Okay. But I would rather hear what you're looking for instead of just bringing a plan. What spaces do you need? Let's say I need two bedrooms, only one bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
kitchen, no dining, whatever. And then I would like to know the reason why you got the reasons why you get to that point.
Okay.
Okay. And then I would like to hear uh, a little bit of your background, and I would like to hear what emotions are you looking for in your house,
Very good
because
questions.
it's very important to know how do you want to feel in that house.
So you're
Okay.
looking for personality match between
Yes.
the people who are going to live there and the home that they're going to live in.
Yes. Usually a house is the largest investment you make in your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, just to copy something from somewhere and think that's going to solve your life or the way you live, it doesn't work that way. It's more, an architect has to be a little bit of a psychologist, in order to understand interpret and then apply to the design.
Okay. Now I know I did that part good because I've been designing dream houses since I was in junior high school. So that actually leads me to the next question. Do you do a site visit and take note of the exposure and the elements and using those make any suggestions?
Definitely yes. Okay,
Good.
I'm a certified building biologist in the United
Oh,
States.
okay.
But they call it biobiology or building biology. Okay, so we want to know what happened there before. Is there any pollution in the soil? What kind of water do you have? The wind, where does it usually go from to north, south, east, west?
Right.
It's pretty common. In the afternoon, it usually goes from the lake to the land, and in the morning it goes the other way around. It's a microclimate. But anyway, you're still looking for all these telltales in order to know precisely where you want your windows, where you want perhaps a wall in order to capture sunlight and then let it seep back during the afternoon. So when
Yeah.
it's cold, you still have some warmth. Definitely, you've got to go to the site.
Oh, that's wonderful.
There's
Yeah.
no other.
I was a big fan of Mother Earth News magazine. I don't know if you ever heard of it,
Yes,
way
yes.
back in my 20s, which has been eons ago. And that's one of the things that I've always paid attention to was, the light and where it's coming from and the breezes and how the land sits. And that's
Yeah,
excellent. I'm
definitely.
so glad to hear you do that. Okay, number 3. Do you work with an engineering firm or should the client hire that service separately?
It could be both ways. It
Okay.
doesn't matter. I mean, as long as I have an engineer stamp, you might say, the structural system and the reinforcements, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
it could be both ways. I usually have a soil test done first.
Mm-hmm.
Then, with that in mind, I make the design and then I go with a structural engineer.
Okay. Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. Um, is reinforced brick and concrete the only kind of construction used in Mexico? And if there are others, what is an alternative?
Oh no, there's a whole, whatever you build worldwide, you could do it in Mexico. Just beware. If it deviates from mainstream, it gets more expensive
Exactly.
because of labor.
Yeah.
Unless you do the labor. It works the same way everywhere. I mean, if you're going to do rammed earth, for example, it might be actually cheap if you do it. But if you bring other people and they have a learning curve, you're going to pay for it. Okay,
Okay.
so it could be haystack, it could be rammed earth, it could be soil bricks, uh,
Wow.
whatever.
Okay.
It's all up to what you're looking for, your budget, and what you like.
Okay. Excellent. That is going to lead into one of my other questions, but next is the engineer responsible for determining the proper land foundation, excuse me, the proper kind of foundation based on the soil and design? And how does that affect your part in this?
Um, yes and no. Okay,
Okay.
they recommend. Okay, but there's a perito, they call it over here, who is the person responsible to the municipality,
Hmm.
to the county. So in the end, he's the responsible person for whatever happens on the building.
Okay.
Okay. So usually when you do the follow the process I just told you, soil, design, and engineer,
Right.
the architect must always take in consideration uh, structural criteria. So when you apply a proper structural criteria, there you don't have to change the project very much. I mean, it usually ends up the same. But you do want to go with with an engineer for the proper calculation of the structure. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Now, on to the plans. This is something you and I talked about. Do you do full sets of plans, including separate pages for like the electric, the plumbing, the elevation, etc., which is what we're used to in the United States? And are they paper or digital or both?
Yes. We do all plans needed. Look, uh, wow, this is a very interesting question. Okay. If you just hire an architect for the plans, you need that by force, because you're going to take those plans to whoever builds this, and that person is gonna have to know what to do.
Mhm.
Okay, you need those plans.
Okay.
What format? Yes, you have to have them printed, and that's basically for your use as the owner, but you also need the digital prints. Usually a PDF and a DWG file.
Mhm.
The DWG file is the kind of file that you get with AutoCAD.
Okay.
Okay, and usually, I mean, in Guadalajara, Zapopan, you have to deliver those to the authorities in digital format. They don't want paper any longer.
Okay.
So yes, you need those. Now I'm going to deviate a little bit. If you hire the architect to be the builder as well, then basically what you need is the prints. Okay, because he's going to take care of the rest. I mean, he
Yes.
could give you a copy, but it's actually that's not the way you work in the United States. Actually, the architect is the middleman, and then you go and hire the subcontractors, and that's not very common here in Mexico. Even though it's a way I've built before, and I
Okay.
recommend,
Okay.
because I mean, in your case, you're a little bit familiar with building and construction, but usually people are not
Right.
used to that, so they need somebody to represent them with the contractors,
Yes,
somebody to fight
exactly.
for them, you might say. Okay,
Mhm.
so I think that way of building is going to gain popularity in the area because I've heard too many horror stories.
Oh,
And the reason is that they hired the designer as a builder, and you can't be the judge and the juror at the same time.
yeah.
Okay, so it's wise to hire the architect and then look for quotations with different subcontractors.
Okay, good advice. Yes, knowing again, I thought, okay, I'm really up on this because of all the experience I've had. So I designed the house, but then I don't know, what is required on the architect side or the engineer side. I just designed a floor plan.
Okay.
And the guy I hired was a real schmo, I got to tell you. And this was the builder. And he took it to some cousin who just put it on a computer program and he never gave me a copy. And you want to hear horror stories, we should sit down and have a coffee. Anyway, okay, next question. Um, if the engineer says that the plan needs structural tweaks, what do you do if this is someone your client has hired and you don't know? What's the process?
The process is find out why.
Okay, so but the two of you get together somehow.
Definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
So the
Yes,
engineer and the architect talk, look at the plans together, point out things, smooth it
yes,
out.
yes,
Wonderful.
yes. There's got to be a reason why, because there's different ways to solve a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So if that goes against the aesthetics of the house,
Mm-hmm.
there can be ways to go around that problem and solve it.
Okay. Good. Good. Uh, are you aware, whoops, and we're getting now into what you had mentioned before. Are you aware of any off-grid or self-sufficient homes built in Jalisco? And if so, have you done any work in that field? Now, you mentioned, haystacks and all these kinds of things, and I just saw a video earlier today, which I had seen before, but another one on hemp blocks and things like that. Are there places that are building different kinds of homes like that?
Yes, not much, not many. Then again, the price goes up,
Yeah,
but you can find them. Now, off grid, well, you would have to go very far away from the grid to actually want to do that, because sometimes it comes out cheaper to have, let's say, a photovoltaic system, but on grid, where you still pay less, but in case something happens, you still have the electricity of CFE right here in
right,
Mexico. So
right.
you'll find it. It's there, but you would have to really think that out.
Okay. I know, again, being a fan of Mother Earth News, all of those innovative, power saving, be on your own, stand alone, the concept is always there. And even here where I am, we've got solar power, we've got solar water heat. Um, I don't have a battery storage yet. That's my next goal. And I am going to find out, and I know it's a little bit cost prohibitive for me now, but in the not too distant future, about drilling a shallow well, at least to take care of the animals and, all of the growing things. So,
Right, right.
being as close to off grid as possible without being out in the boonies.
Agreed.
Okay, excellent. Yay. Let's see. Do you maintain contact with the builder as the projects are being built, or only if the builder contacts you?
If I'm hired to be in contact with them, I'll go the whole process.
Okay.
Actually, that's what I'm recommending. I mean, the architect has to be there to supervise what the contractor is doing and see that he's doing it properly.
Mm-hmm.
Not only with plans, you also would like to add specification writing, which isn't very common here in Mexico. But since I've built in the United States as well, I know that specification writing is it's super important. Okay, so you would like that as well. Now, you could just, hand over the plans and specifications, but I would highly recommend the client to hire me to be their eyes on the building site,
Okay.
because contractors can do they end up being judge and juror as well.
Sure.
So
Okay.
you don't want that.
You're absolutely right. Been there, done that, don't like it, not good, not a good plan. Um, from what I have asked, what can you think of that I failed to ask that you think needs to be mentioned?
All right now, well, I'd actually mentioned some things like the system, which the architect is the actual builder, but he is your eyes on the side building site, so
Mm-hmm.
he can tell you if things are being done right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he is not the contractor. He's working for you. Okay,
Okay.
now that adds some costs. I understand that, but then again, if you do it right, the architect, once he has the design, he will be looking for two, three, or four different contractors
Mm-hmm.
and see who can do the work with the quality required and the best price.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that usually is where the client gets lost because they don't understand very well. They just are looking for some recommendation. Somebody, hey, I worked with this guy and he seemed fine,
Right.
but seemed fine doesn't mean anything. So
Exactly.
it's more
Exactly.
like, you want somebody to take to do the ugly work for you, in other words.
Okay. Are there builders that you have worked with over the years that have been consistently high quality and you recommend them?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
Actually, yes. Even though they also depend on other people.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where the supervision comes in. It comes very handy.
Okay. Okay. That's all very, very good information. Could you tell us a little bit, this is the last thing I've got, a little bit about your education and experience in things that have been your designs and your projects?
Sure. Well, I'm an architect from the University of Guadalajara. I did some work in the United States in California area near San Francisco. I'm a certified building biologist from the International Biobiology and Ecology Institute in the United States.
Mhm.
I have two master's degrees. One is in neuropsychology, and one is in coaching. And well, the other stuff, but it doesn't, mean much
Okay.
right now. I've been building in this area for, gosh, almost 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and I
You must have
love it.
started when you were 10, huh?
No, not really. I'll be sick. I'll be 60 next December.
Okay.
So it's and well, I love doing it. I love building. I love designing, and I can share with you some stuff I'm doing right now, and I'll send you a message with some pictures. I'm
Okay.
building right now, right here in Guadalajara
Uh-huh.
and well, in Zapopan. I'm doing some work in San Juan Cozola, and we're about to start some new projects in Guadalajara.
So are you just across the board or primarily residential, mass residential, commercial, what?
Actually, when somebody looks for healthy buildings in Mexico, they'll find me. That's my niche. Healthy buildings, whatever it is. I've
Okay.
done hotels, I've done commercial, I've done a lot of residential.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, when you're looking for healthy buildings,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Aldo Prieto is right there.
Okay. Well, that sounds excellent. Now, if you won't mind, which I'm sure you won't, do a follow-up here and not only send me some pictures, but also your contact information, however it is that you might want or prefer someone to contact you who's seen the video and would like to talk to you further and perhaps hire you.
I'd be glad to do that.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so very much for being with me today and coordinating with me. I can't tell you how much I appreciate meeting you and talking with you. And I really hope that this saves so many people, so many problems.
Hopefully. Thank you very much, Sherry Lynn.
Okay, thank you. Great information, Aldo. Thank you so very much. I hope that this interview has brought to you something that will help you make better decisions, make better plans, proceed in a way that is much more smooth and effective if you are building a home here in Mexico. Now, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because that helps me to grow and bring you even better information all the time. For now, have a great day.